Jim and Sandy Tack knew they had a blonde-haired heartbreaker from the beginning with their son, Bo. Travis Bo Tack was the pride of his community, a two-time first-team All-State football player, a two-time District 11 javelin champion, and a member of the 1998 Colonial League championship team. In 1999, he quarterbacked the first ever District 11 championship team at Northern Lehigh and played in the first Pennsylvania East-West All-Star game. Bo was named to ESPN's Academic High School Football All-American team in 2000-2001. In 2001, he was named Most Valuable Male Athlete of Northern Lehigh. He was also the school's representative of the best of the best.
When he graduated, Bo accepted a football scholarship to the University of Delaware. He transferred to Lehigh University and later to Wilkes University. He graduated magna cum laude in 2007 as a member of Delta Mu Delta with a degree in business and marketing. However, at the age of 12, Bo's parents knew that something was wrong. He was eventually diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder, and combined with depression, and despite the never-ending hope and love from his family, as well as extensive medical treatment, Bo ended his own life.
And that began a new journey 6 years ago for Jim and Sandy Tack. And Jim and Sandy join us this afternoon to talk about that journey. Thank you so much for joining us. And Sandy, I know it's hard, but can you share with us what it was like to experience that tragic event?
Sure. Bo called me at work, and this was something he often did when he wasn't feeling well. He'd call me. I think it was part of his disease process. And he said he didn't feel good, and I said, you know, what's wrong, what's going on? I offered to meet him at the hospital, meet him at the emergency room, offered to come home. He said no, or, you know, I'm gonna do something. Obviously, immediately the sirens went off in my head, so I drove home, worked about 40 minutes away. And I'll never forget driving and parking in front of the house. When I got out, it was almost like a surreal calmness. I felt. I ran into our house yelling his name, couldn't find him in his room, couldn't find him in the rec room. We had 2 stairwells at the time, up one stairwell, down the other. And then I found the note, and I found him in our garage. He had hung himself. So I called 911, cut him down, and started to do CPR. Called my husband, obviously somewhere in between there. And I just remember the paramedics coming and asked them to help my child, and they ushered me back into the house and, you know, told me they would take care of him. So.
And he didn't make it?
No, he did not.
Well,
no.
First off, we're very sorry for your loss. But some amazing things have come from that. Before we get to that, you guys moved back from Pennsylvania, what, a couple years ago now?
Yes.
And it was like, what, within a year that suddenly there was what was eventually called a cluster of suicides. Right. With, I think there were 25 teenagers and young adults, 116 attempts, and here you just moved right back into this. How did you handle that?
That was a punch in the gut. It was difficult to see so many in a row. It was very frustrating. We wanted to help. We had been speaking through our foundation all over the United States and Pennsylvania. We're not allowed to help, which was difficult. Through the process, though, we were able to meet with Mr. Jim Lafferty from the Mental Health of Delaware, the executive director, and start a relationship with him. But seeing all this around and no one wanting to talk about it or talk with us was very difficult, and we just knew that we were in a stigma-laden area, that it just was different than where we had come from, and that it wasn't accepted that this was a disease through depression.
Yeah, in fact, the Centers for Disease Control says that there are now more deaths from suicide than car accidents. And you're speaking about Under Every Helmet and Hat is a Child Who Needs Us in Milton tomorrow night. Tell me about that.
We'll be at the Lewis Church of Christ. Our church, a great place, accepting, has been very big in us getting back on our feet. We had mentioned before that the Millen family, Matt Millen of the NFL, did our counseling, our Christian counseling, And then we found this wonderful church, and they want to put this program together tomorrow night, open to the community. And our goal is going to be to get people to understand that depression is a disease. It is not a personality disorder. It's not something that you can just snap out of. And it's not just kids that walk around with their hood over their head and camping under a bridge. It's not it at all. So we want to break down those walls, the stigma.
You and I had an opportunity to speak at some length
Yes.
yesterday, as a matter of fact,
good
and
time, yeah.
it's absolutely tremendous, from a horribly tragic event to how you've turned it into one of hope. And that's the point of your discussion tomorrow night, which is absolutely incredible. Please, if you get a chance to go. If you were to boil everything down to one message, what would you say?
I think that depression is a disease. Mental health issues are diseases, just like cancer, just like diabetes, and there is treatment for them. It's not something you can shake off or get over or phase. Truly are diseases.
Rick Warren, the author of The Purpose-Driven Life, put it best last week on CNN when he said, any other organ in your body can get ill and people will give you help. But if the brain gets ill, no one understands that and they don't want to help you. So that's going to be our goal for tomorrow night, to get people to understand. And we have the support of University of Michigan Depression Center, that we have the equipment and the slides to do that.
All righty. Well, this is going to be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at the Crossing in Milton. It costs you not one thin dime. And if you want to know more about their story or more about the discussion tomorrow night, you can go to delmarvalife.com and find out all the details there. Jim, Sandy, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Cannot tell you how absolutely incredible my discussion was with him. It was amazing.
Well, still to come, here on Delmarva, we take a lot of pride in preserving our land and waterways.
And the Delaware National Estuarine Research Reserve in Dover has made this their mission. Brian is there now with what we can do right in our own yards to help. Brian?
Well, Jimmy and Lisa, there are a lot of different things you can do. You can put a rain garden in your yard, even plant native plants. We'll explain the benefits of each when we come back and why you should be doing it.
And a little bit later on, we're in the kitchen putting together a salsa with a fruity twist. Delmarva Life. We'll be right back.